Next up, at
maybe
UFC
it's
Vegas.
full of cum.
Next up, at UFC Vegas 98, we had Themba Gorimbo taking on Niko Price. Themba Gorimbo 13-4 in his career. 4-1 in his last 5. He is on a 3-fight win streak. Taking on Niko Price, 16-7 in his career, 2-3 in his last 5. He's coming off that decision win over Alex Morono. First of all, Niko is a Fort Myers, Cape Coral guy. So hopefully, good luck to him and his family. Hopefully his family, he's got like a bunch of kids. Hopefully they can go with him to Vegas and just get the hell out of there and they're not affected by this storm. Also, hopefully it's not weighing on him emotionally because he's going into a fight, a very tough fight against a very tough Themba Gorimbo. Style-wise, Niko Price is an absolute madman. He's incredibly fun. He has a willingness to just put himself in harm's way for our entertainment. He's got 2 knockouts off of his back. Both of those will be highlights forever. He's a blast to watch. He can beat anybody on any day just with sheer forward pressure, volume, persistence. But he is just willing to be too fun sometimes, and that could be kind of a What?
No, I just remembered his reaction when he had that draw versus Cowboy.
He was loving it. He was so
dude,
excited.
he was like, woo! And Cowboy's like, dude, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, he was
dude,
so
Cowboy
excited.
literally looked over like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he was pumped.
Like he just won the title, dude. He was like, woo!
He is coming off that underdog win, though, over Alex Morono, where he had a wrestle-heavy game plan. He's taking on Themba Gorimbo. Themba Gorimbo is a distance striker. He likes to manage range well. He'll pick his shots. He's pretty long for this weight class, and he uses that length to keep you far away. Typically a counter striker, but he will charge forward when he sees his openings. He's got solid takedown defense. He'll just widen his base, stuff the head, work the hips instead of pitter-patter nonsense. He has some offensive takedowns as well, 10 of them in 4 UFC fights. He's coming off that dominant win over world champion grappler Ramiz Brahimaj. It's always hard to pick against Niko because he's a wild man and will just continue to fight no matter what. It's easy to pick against him because you can't always trust the game plan. He's literally out there trying to get win bonuses and have some fun and entertain the fans, which is great for us, but also like puts himself in harm's way for no reason. I am going to leave Themba here, or lean Themba here. I just think he's the more polished fighter. He's not the more dangerous guy, but he's the more polished fighter. I could trust the decision-making, and he'll do what he has to do to win the fight, where Niko will be more willing to just have some fun. So I appreciate Niko and all the entertainment he's given us for years, but I think Themba is just going to be a little too much here, and he should get it done. What do you think, Jakey Bubba Boy?
Yeah, one of my favorite, I mean, that was pretty much the breakdown there, but one of my favorite parts about Themba, and I am going to go Themba in this fight, why I love Themba is Themba was a former lock of the week, great guy, everyone knows his story up at this point. I actually tried to fade him at one point because I was like, as fights goes on, you know, he can get a little bit sloppy in the striking, he can get reversed in some grappling positions, and that's going to be Niko's. For Niko to win this fight, it's got to be a vintage Niko performance, right? Whether the early first round storm, you might get taken down a couple times, but then in the second round, in the third round, you have to win the scrambles to be able to win this fight, because I don't think he's got the hands to hurt a guy like Themba. As you mentioned, Themba's a long guy, range. He's got to be able to, when Themba takes his shot in the second round, be able to reverse that and make Themba work, really wear him down and start winning the scrambles. But what I love about Themba going into this fight is, for his entire MMA, or his entire UFC career, from my knowledge up to this point, he was at MMA Masters. MMA Masters was the Colby gym, and there's nobody really there, right? I mean, it's Colby. It was like Priscilla Cochera. There's a few other people, right? I think Nate Landwehr was there for a little bit, but there's no real like high level stuff. And I don't love their coaching as well, right? I don't like, you know, when I see the Colby training and the game plans and all the stuff and the corner work, they just don't seem like high level coaches. All summer long, he's been at Extreme Couture. Extreme Couture is a well-known gym, high-level coaches, high-level training partners, and I think that is a perfect timing part of Themba's career, because it seemed like if he was going to be the man at MMA Masters, he was going to kind of plateau, but you saw him start leveling up, and now he's going to level up even more.
Pronounce
being at
that again?
What?
What's the flat top of a mountain?
A plateau?
There you go. You said plateau.
No, I said plateau. It's just
Okay, my
just
bad.
the way I say stuff.
All right, my bad.
Yeah, you're the king of pronunciations, aren't we, Angelo?
I
Right.
do
Half
enunciate clearly.
Rocha, right?
Correct.
And now you're just
Those are sorry, my throat, dude. I'm losing my voice. The well, those are different languages. I speak English. Plateau is English.
I am octlingual.
Just so you guys know, James Kuyu just trolled me again. He texted me saying, "Ange, wipe your nose. Looks like you got a booger," and that's why I looked. And then he sent a got him gif. So never ends. I'm sorry, I interrupted.
Are you really going to do that in the mic though? Like just the rest of the time?
I'll mute while I do this. Go ahead.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Suck that thing, bitch. But yeah, I like the gym change for a guy like Themba. I think it's the right point in his career to really change and get to the level that he wants to be, which is a title contender, right? You have to be willing to take a few chances, explore new horizons to level up in that way. And I think it's a great move for Themba. I think he's just going to come in, engage in the striking, get to the wrestling, and just kind of outwork Niko for either a decision win or maybe a weird sub or something like that. So I like Themba. I think the gym change is going to be good for him, and I think we're going to see a really, really high-level Themba in this fight. It's a great opportunity versus a guy like Niko, who is durable, and we love Niko, but he also makes mistakes in the striking, makes mistakes in the grappling and stuff like that. In the Alex Morono fight as well, you're going to see, what was it, 6, 7 takedowns, 5 takedowns,
Yeah,
whatever
Alex
it was.
is the most unreliable guy at that weight class.
He basically tried to pull a guillotine 5 times in a row, and that's how.
Yeah.
I mean, Niko was on his hips, right? But then he's like and it wasn't even like one of those power, like quick guillotines. It was one of those, I'm on the hips, and my hands are. Kind of slow motion. So take those takedowns with a grain of salt. It's not like he's going to come in and like be blast doubling Themba, and there's like a new Niko. So I think Themba just kind of outworks him.
Yeah, and we'll get to Alex. He's on this card too. He's a pretty unreliable guy. But we're both on the same side here. I don't think I'm going to do the $9,200 for Themba, though. This could be a decision. Niko can be very durable. Obviously, Robbie Lawler put him out, but that's freaking Robbie Lawler. And Themba, while he can finish...
Themba put out Rodriguez, and Pete Rodriguez is a very high level striker, very high level durable.
3-time lock of the week.
Fucking Pete, man, I love
3-time lock of the week. Pete Rodriguez, feeling magical, fool. That dude missed weight twice.
Feeling hella magical, fool. Hella magical, fool.
Guy missed weight twice and then was knocked out in 2 seconds. What a joke. What a joke.
Dude, I had him, and you know how much I love Jack Della. Even going into that Jack Della Medellin fight, I'm like, guys, listen, I know that Jack's a good boxer, but this guy, Pete Rodriguez, can throw that shit. He can switch stances, right? He's a grappler at his core. And Jack Medellin was like,
bad,
boop, boop.
He's so bad.
Fuck.
You were all over him for a bunch of time. Dude, at one point, we almost had the lock of the week heads up against the safety parlay because I had Natan Levy,
yeah.
And you went Pete Rodriguez.
He would.
And that fight
I
didn't happen 'cause he
stand
missed
to
weight
this
twice.
fucking day that he smokes Natan Levy.
No. Well, we'll never find out, will we? If you do want to unlock all the picks, the bets, the round line leans, the artificial intelligence, and everything else, it's freaking $10. It's just an amazing way to support us as well. And then on top of it, you get quite literally the greatest suite of tools and information you could ever want or need. $10 for an entire month. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top.
20 miles to the west, and you and everyone you know are dead. All of you.
That was the storm that I left, but that was the one that you stayed
unless
for.
You're very, very lucky.
And your kids died too.
Your kids died too.
That was so wild. No, that was Hurricane Matt. It was on the other side of the state. That didn't affect us at all.
Okay.
If this hurricane, you and everyone you know, it's like, that's not how hurricanes work, dude.
Yeah. Well, even like my wife's like pretty upset that none of my family is leaving. I was like, I'm not worried about them dying. Like,
yeah,
I'm not worried about that.
That's what my parents like. Yeah, I mean, they're gonna
it's
lose
just a
power.
wild
It's gonna suck, and
it'll be scary. And that's
and they could have some flooding, and maybe the house get. I mean, the worst case scenario is like the house gets ruined or whatever. But it's like, yeah, they're not gonna die.
I mean, obviously, people do die in these things, but like they're in
actually the worst
well-built homes and stuff like that.
The worst case scenario for a lot of people is if during this you have a medical emergency and then you can't go anywhere. Yeah, you can't. That's like with my parents. That's the one I think about. It's like they're a little bit older now. What if the stress gets to them a little bit? And there's a medical emergency, and then it's like, oh shit, like nothing can be done. So
yeah. I mean, well, they got that fire department right there, which could help, but
they're not coming.